Welcome back into Rounding Third Podcast, episode 226. Will a team sign Julio Urias? I'm Nick. Unfortunately, Harrison is still out, still day to day, still not feeling very well. So, just me again and everybody in the chat. So, please chime in, help me out with the show. We got a lot of stuff to dive into and talk about tonight. But first, make sure you follow and like us on Facebook. You can subscribe on YouTube. You can also follow on Instagram, Rumble, and TikTok. You can also listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. We also have our affiliate sponsors, Dick's Sporting Goods, MLB Shop, and Lids. You can find these links on the tops of all of our socials. You just click on them and do your shopping through these companies. We get a nice little kickback with no additional cost to you. So it's a great way to support us, the podcast. So please go on there and check that out. We also have the Rounding Third store on Etsy. So Rounding Third Baseball on Etsy, you can go on there, find some merch. You know, you look good in some Rounding Third t-shirts and sweatshirts. So just another great way to support us. All right, let's jump into it. Got a couple moves this week. Chris Taylor was released by the Dodgers. He's picked up by the Angels like right away. Will he help the Angels enough for them to make a run at this thing? I don't know. I mean, the Angels they had an 8-game win streak. They were looking good. Now they play the Yankees. We start to see who the Angels actually are. I don't think they have it. But the Angels have some nice pieces. They're still a ways away. I think they're kind of in the same breath as the Athletics. That means like they have the pieces to get there. They're just missing some key components. Chris Taylor doesn't really move the needle for me, but it's a nice veteran that knows how to win, knows what to do to help his team. So, I mean, is it a great signing? No. Does it hurt you? Also, no. But it doesn't do anything for me to get the Angels, to actually compete. But we'll see. They're streaky. They're crazy streaky. I've been watching a lot of them lately just to kind of see exactly what they are. But it's kind of hard. And we'll get to Mike Trout in a little bit, but kind of hard to know where the Angels are at this point with them just being so high and so low. Captain Harrison's still on the IL. Hopefully getting some stuff figured out here. He's missing it bad. I mean, I've talked to him daily, checking in on him. He's doing all right. He's just he definitely misses being on and talking to you guys and talking ball. So he'll be back soon, promise. All right, Orlando Arcia. So he got released by the Braves and signs with the Rockies. I mean, good for the Rockies, I guess, but I don't know where Arcia plays with Tovar at short. I don't really know where Arcia's spot is on that Rockies team. I guess really he can play anywhere because that Rockies team is miserable. So I guess it doesn't really matter where he plays. But kind of an interesting signing for the Rockies with not really needing a shortstop when you got Ezekiel Tovar. So interesting there. But yeah, thanks, Captain. This is actually the Angel City Connect hat that I got on. But I love what they did with their City Connects the first time around. They didn't go over the top. It was like very classic look. But I love the hat, so I got it. All right. Bryce Harper exits the game Tuesday after being hit in his surgically repaired elbow. X-rays are negative, but what would have that loss meant to the Phillies? I mean, would that have taken them out of the playoff hunt, do you guys? Also, Bryce Harper just completely ends the Phillies season, or do they have enough weapons to keep them going? I'm not sure. I mean, I'm glad they're negative because, again, he's one of those guys that baseball is better when Bryce Harper is in the lineup and playing. But this would have been a tough blow for the Phillies. But they have other bats in that lineup that could help carry them. I don't think it necessarily takes them out of the race, but it does hurt if he's out. But it looks like he's just day-to-day now until he can get back into the lineup. But anything off that surgically repaired elbow or, any trauma to that elbow is concerning. So they're probably going to take it a little slow with Bryce Harper. We'll see. I don't know if there wasn't many games tonight. So I don't think the Phillies played. Or no, they had a doubleheader today. So I don't know if he was in the lineup or not. But hopefully he'll be back. No damage done there. So, yeah, I think Garcia can help them anywhere, help the Rockies anywhere. I agree, Captain. I mean, there's really – every spot other than you're not going to take McMahon out of the lineup. But yeah, I think Garcia can help them anywhere. Chad says if he is out, they're a wild card team at best. They have talent, but he is more than numbers. Yeah, and I agree with that point. He is the heart and soul of that team. He is the leader of that team, no doubt. And I agree. I think they still make the playoffs without Harper. Thankfully, it looks like he's going to be fine for this injury. But I agree. They wouldn't run away with the NL East. I don't think they'd get a first round bye. They'd sneak in the wild card because he is more than just a baseball player there. He is a leader on that team. I'm with you 1,000%, Chad. And Captain backs that up. Harper's the heart and brains of that team. They would be a ship without a sail if it was long term. Yeah, completely agree. Yeah, John, he says, my internet is crap right now. Wind is so strong in the Olympic Peninsula today. Can't watch the Mariners tonight. Yeah, well, I might be in and out here. We're having crazy severe thunderstorms here in Raleigh. So if I pop off, I'll try to jump back on as soon as possible. But just to give you guys a heads up, that might happen here. Yeah, and Thomas, this is a good point. Let's see what the MRI looks like. Yeah, you have to do that. Just because the x-rays are negative doesn't mean the MRI comes back clean. That's completely true. Hopefully it's nothing because like I said, baseball and the Phillies are better with Bryce Harper in it. Yeah, and lucky it was a close call. Yeah, I'm with you, John. Lucky it's day to day for sure. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on that. We'll keep you guys posted. I'm sure. You guys have your ways of getting information other than us. So I'm sure we'll be able to talk about it more on Sunday as more news drops. All right. Speaking of injuries, Mike Trout is to be activated off the IL tomorrow. What do we expect from Mike Trout at this point? And I ask this question, is he too far gone? I don't know what to think about Mike Trout at this point. When the guy is healthy, even if he's semi-healthy, he puts up crazy numbers. He had 9 home runs before he tweaked his knee on first base. So I don't know. And I think I'm with you, John Temple. Yeah, DH only. Don't put this guy in the outfield. Don't risk it. I know he got hurt going to first base, but if you can limit his risk, limit his exposure to get hurt by putting him in right field, don't just have him hit. Maybe MLB puts in a courtesy runner rule, just like old man softball for this guy because he needs it. We just need Mike Trout to stay healthy. That's all I want. I want one more healthy year of Mike Trout. And yeah, he's been out for 2-3 weeks now. So not a long time in injury standpoints from his career anyways. Like he's been in longer ones. I just want to see the numbers this guy can still put up because he's one of the best ever. And I want to see a full season. Yeah, welcome, John. Good to see you tonight, bud. Glad you made it. Yeah, John says I would have him play every other day, DH 3-4 days a week, and only use him as a late inning pinch hitter. Yeah, I think Harrison and I talked about that too. Is like if you want him to play right field, okay. Like I think you have to give him off days. If you want him in the outfield, you have to give him off days. Give him an off day before a travel day. Give him 2 days off in a row. Because Mike Trout's not going to lose his timing. This dude's an absolute stud. Just you gotta manage him, just like the NBA. We've talked about that too. But yeah, it was said on the show earlier this year that he was done. Then Then he went on a crazy run. He'll do it again. And I'm with you, Captain. I don't know if I can count Mike Trout out yet. I mean, as much as this guy has been injured, he is a what if player for us just because of the injuries and the time he's missed. But when he's healthy, he is the best, one of the best hitters, if not the best hitter in the league. It's absolutely insane. And Chad, this is a great point. He knows what he means to that team. I worry that he's going to do too much to try to help the team win and not stay healthy. Absolutely, that's a fair point. Absolute fair point. He's one of those guys that does what it takes, and if it's putting his body on the line, he'll put his body on the line, and he'll do what it takes. It's just hard. It's hard to watch because we're getting robbed of his career. Just like Jacob deGrom, we bring those names up almost together every time we bring up injuries in Mike Trout, or just injuries in general. Like Jacob deGrom and Mike Trout's names always come up. I don't think he's too far gone at this point. I mean, he is brittle. Let's call it how it is. Mike Trout is brittle. And it stinks because he is ridiculous. They need to move him now and build for the future. Okay, see that? And then John follows that point up, Chad, with he will be a Philly by year's end. Yeah, I mean, we've talked about that too. I think if he does get traded, it will be to the Philadelphia Phillies. He's from New Jersey. Philly is, very publicly known to be his team. He's at more Eagles games than he is Angels games. I think Harrison made that point a few weeks ago. It was funny. But I mean, he's a Philly fanatic, and that's his home. But I mean, he does have a family settled in Southern California. So is he happy just living out the rest of his career in Anaheim when not many people stay on one team their whole career? I don't know. Does that help his case for the Hall later on? Maybe. Is he a Hall of Famer already? I could argue he is. I mean, even with the injuries, I could make an argument for Mike Trout to get into the Hall. I mean, what this guy has done when he's on the field is something that is Hall of Fame worthy. I know the Hall's a very a numbers-based thing, but we got 387 career home runs. We're a 300 hitter, which will help. 297, so not exactly 300, but 972 RBIs. I mean, being on the Angels hurts that RBI total for sure. But it's the accolades for me. It's 3-time MVP, 11-time All-Star, 2-time All-Star Game MVP, Rookie of the Year, 9-time Silver Slugger. I mean, the list goes on and on. The best overall Defensive Player of the Year, so Platinum Glove. I mean, his accolades are there. It's just health for Mike Trout. I don't know what happens. Philly could rotate 3 in the outfield and DH, and and that would put the Phillies over the hump, I think. If he can go there, stay healthy by rotating through the outfield spots. What do you do with Schwarber, though? Do you sit Schwarber? I mean, the DH spot's kind of taken there in Philly, so I don't know what you would do there. That's interesting. I don't know if you'd put Schwarber out in the outfield. That's a liability. Eye test, no doubt. Maybe not a first ballot, but in by the 5th vote. I don't think it will take 5, but I'm with you. I think he has to get in just from the accolades alone. And there's plenty of guys in there that were injured in their career, didn't put up the crazy numbers. And maybe writers will take that into effect. But I don't know. It's tough because he's not going to hit those quote-unquote automatic milestone numbers because of his injuries. Now, he still has time left. He's 33. So we're still on the youngish side, but how old really is his body? We don't know. He's been fighting a ton of injuries, and he's got that degenerative back going on. The knees are going, the hips are going. There's no doubt this guy's an absolute animal. I just don't know how many more productive years we have out of Mike Trout. I hope it's a bunch. I hope it's 5 or 6. Get him to 39, 40 years old. I just don't know if I see it with the injuries. Yeah, he could have won more MVPs. The MLB just got tired of giving it to him. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, then you got Shohei Otani coming in, kind of stealing the thunder there, but it's hard. Yeah. Angels couldn't put a pitching staff together. Now they Felix Tim. Yeah, I mean, I agree to that point, John. I mean, Trout's a little bit to blame there too. I mean, he signs a $40 million a year extension, $400, I think is what it was, $400 million. So the Angels really couldn't go out and sign anybody else. I mean, they tried with Rendon. We all know how that worked out. Not great. So, the Angels have tried to compete. They've just missed too many times. And they're now past the prime of Mike Trout. Is his past the prime still really freaking good? Yeah, it's still really freaking good. So Mike Trout's going to help the Angels team when he comes back. Will he help them to the point where they compete in the AL West? Possibly. That AL West to me is still a coin flip. I know the Mariners are kind of the top dog right now. But to me, it's way too early to really determine who is the best team in that AL West. Houston's only a half game back out of the lead now. Everybody else is starting to fall a little bit. 4.5 for Texas, 5.5 for Angels. Athletics have gone on a really bad losing streak. I think they lost 11 straight before they won the other night. So they've fallen to 8 back. So again, still a lot of time to make some time up. But for me, Mike Trout's got to come back and be Mike Trout for this Angels team to even have a shot to compete. So we will see what happens. Ronald Blanco. So he'll undergo season-ending surgery on his elbow. So I put surgery there twice just in case, it wasn't, you didn't know it was surgery. So it said on Thursday or Sunday, sorry, I told you that second opinions weren't good, wasn't looking good for Blanco. Where does this put the Astros now? So we're kind of staying in the AL West now. You lose, your number 2 guy probably behind Valdez. Where does this put the Astros? I don't know. And yeah, Captain's with me. The West is definitely wide open. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's May. I mean, almost June, but there's plenty of baseball left. Any team can go on a 10, 11 game losing streak and flip that and go on a 10 or 11 game win streak. I mean, every team's capable. I mean, there's some talent on those ALS teams. They could get hot, go on a run. So we will see. But I don't know what this does for the Astros. I mean, this is a hit. This is a blow to the Astros. I don't know where they go forward with this. I don't know what their minor league system looks like. So we'll see what happens with the Astros going forward here. But John says, I find it funny that Jerry DiPoto couldn't build a pitching staff when he was there and they score 8 a game. Now Jerry's in Seattle, best staff in baseball, can't score. Yeah. Yeah, if they're gonna have to lean on McCullers, I'm not sure if he can deliver. Yeah, and it's tough. That whole situation with McCullers isn't good. He's still trying to find it after taking all that time off coming back in 2023. It's tough. I don't know where the Astros go. I mean, Altuve had a ridiculous game the other day. I think he was 4 for 4, 2 homers. Of course, he was on my bench in fantasy, so that really helped out a lot. Just kidding. But Astros are interesting to me. I don't know where they go from here, but we'll see what shakes out in Houston. All right, Nick Kurtz. Like I've been telling you guys, I've been watching a ton of the A's. I think their offense is a blast to watch. A lot of young kids that are going to be very good. He was placed on the IL with a strained hip flexor. He's come up big for the A's lately. I know they were in an 11-game losing streak. It's not necessarily like coming up big, but he's put them in games to compete. I think they were down 3-2 the other night. And he hits a 2-run homer to make it a 1-run game in the bottom of the ninth. So he put the A's in striking distance. But Kotze says it's hopefully shorter than longer. So hopefully Nick Kurtz will be back in the middle of that lineup and delivering. But yeah, I love watching the A's, man. What's killing the A's right now is that ballpark. I'm convinced it's that ballpark. Their pitching staff is struggling, right? As we kind of knew it was going to. We knew the offense was going to be there. They were going to be able to put up runs. They were going to battle. But that ballpark is a homer dome. I mean, balls are flying out of there left and right, and it's not even remotely a major league friendly park. I mean, guys are just bombing balls out of there. And they said in the summer it's going to fly even more. So we could be seeing record number of home runs there in Sacramento. Yeah, A's down huge, 11-0. Oh, Toronto scored 8 in the second. Good. Oh, nope. Just kidding. Gavin says they're down 12-0. Damn. Yeah, I mean, every team has those butt whoopings, right? There's some days you show up to the park, you just don't have it. The A's still have a long ways to go. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they're going to run away with the AL West. They're going to win a couple rounds in the playoffs. They're not. They're far away from that. I just find them exciting to watch because I can see the potential there. Now, it'll be interesting to see what the A's owner does moving forward. We've talked about this a little bit. Do they keep these kids? Do they lock them up? Do they try to start finding pitching as they work their way towards Las Vegas? I think they do. I think they're going to try to keep these guys. You know, we've seen the Rooker extension. We've seen the Lawrence Butler extension. Are they going to extend Langoliers? Are they, have that backstop offensively? Langoliers is there. Are they going to try to lock up Kurtz here? And then just kind of, patch pitching together until they get to Vegas and then just go all out. I think that's what they do. Yeah, they're a good young team. I wish Portland was in play before Vegas got involved. Yeah. I mean, you're saying it for selfish reasons, being there in Portland. I completely get it. Just if I knew that Raleigh was in the mix, I would be like, oh yeah, bring them here for sure. Yeah, there's a lot to be excited about for this A's team and the potential they have. But that's all it is right now is potential. They're only going to get better, at least at the plate. We'll see what they do with the pitching. And this is a fantastic point, Captain. They have a notoriously good farm system also. Yeah. I mean, look at all those years in the 90s, early 2000s, mid 2000s. They were just bringing up pitchers left and right. And then when it was time to pay them, they'd ship them out. Hudson, Zito, Mulder. I mean, all of them. I could just keep going. Hardin, Herron, all those guys. Yeah, and John, I'm kind of with you. He's not going to spend jack at all until they get to the new ballpark. Keep a core 5 and build when they get to Vegas. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what the Rooker extension does, right? I think he's signed through 2028 or 2029, I believe. Let me check real quick here. It was 5 years, so it will go till 2030 maybe. Let's see. Yeah, it'll go for an option to 2030. So Rooker's there when they get to Vegas for sure. Butler's extension was somewhere around that as well. And then I think they unload for pitching because those guys are going to be perennial all-stars by the time they get to Vegas. Rooker's already there. Butler, if he keeps improving, he'll be there. And this Nick Kurtz kid with flashes of brilliance, I think he could be really, really good for the A's too. So, yeah, Chad, agree. They need to secure the bats. Pitchers are not going to want to go there because of the ballpark. Yeah, the minor league ballpark is a definite turnoff. That's why, I was shocked that Severino signed there. And then they got Springs. I think Springs was a trade, but either way, I mean, he might not have been. I can't remember. But Yeah, the Severino signing in the offseason was shocking. I didn't expect the A's to kind of sweep in and take Severino from anybody else, but he's actually pitched fairly well considering the conditions there. Like I said, balls are flying out of there left and right, but they'll get there eventually. It'll be interesting to see what this franchise does once they get to Vegas. So I'm excited for it. That's if we have baseball there because of the lockout. So I don't know. We'll see. Which we are going to talk about the lockout here in a little bit too. You guys gave me some suggestions this week. I put them in the show. And so thank you for that. Like I said, like this is your show too. And we want to talk about the stuff that you guys want to talk about. So we will get to that too. All right. Sean Newcomb traded back to the A's by the Red Sox for cash. He's the last pitcher to record a win without throwing a pitch to a batter. I think I had that on a trivia question a few months back. He came in out of the bullpen with 2 outs, picked the runner off from first. A's took the lead in the bottom of the inning, and he gets the win without throwing a pitch. Yeah, so, I mean, it's not a huge move, but it gives the A's a little bit more pitching depth. He's, either really good or really bad. There's no kind of, that was an all right start or all right outing for Newcomb. But it's another arm for the A's, so good for them. And the Red Sox were just like, yeah, you can have him. So, yeah, Severino is a ground ball pitcher, though. Well, not in that ballpark, but he's a former first round pick. I did not know that. So good. But yeah. And it was kind of cool because he is a Massachusetts kid. So being able to pitch in Fenway was probably pretty cool for him. So pretty awesome. All right. This kid he's coming up to the show soon. I can't wait for this kid to get up to the Royals. I don't think the Royals can wait for this kid to come up. But the week this kid just had is unreal. So he moved up to AAA and promptly hits 113.6 mile per hour bomb, 410 feet Thursday, 111.6 miles per hour, 441 feet on Friday, 107 miles per hour. No official stat cast as it cleared the outfield berm and couldn't track it. I mean, my God. 108.6 miles per hour, 459 feet in the first inning, and then follows it up in the 10th with 107.6. So 5 home runs over 4 consecutive games at AAA. Crazy. Harrison's got a message for you guys. Hey, chat, miss y'all. Thanks for filling in for me while Nick keeps the show going. I promise I'm working my back off the IL. So, yeah, we all miss you, Harrison. I know you'll be back. You're working your butt off to rehab and get back. So we'll see you on here soon for sure. But everybody misses you for sure. But yeah, so Jack Caglianone, like how long until we see him up at the big club? I mean, with a week like that, the Royals are taking notice. I mean, they've probably already taken notice with this kid, but to go up to AAA and immediately do this is absolutely insane. To hit a ball that StatCast can't even track because you just absolutely annihilate it is wild to me. But so this kid's already like out hitting AAA. He's ready. Captain says, keep throwing on the side, Harrison. Keep building that stamina and get back for sure. But yeah, so and he's gonna help that Royals team. The Royals team's up and down. We'll get into that later too, because I have a slide where we're going to talk about teams that are over and underachieving. You guys are probably going to disagree with me in some of them, but that's fine. But we will definitely look at that later in the show. But I think the Royals are a little bit on the underside right now. But yeah, we'll have a chance to talk about it in a little bit. But all right. This one pains me because it's against my Red Sox. Hit a walk-off grand slam in the bottom of the 10th inning against the Sox. It was an absolute tank. I mean, absolute no-doubter. His first walk-off of his career, which is kind of crazy. I mean, Christian Yelich has had a pretty solid career. For that to be his first walk-off home run, I thought was pretty wild. But where do you guys stand on the Brewers right now. For me, I don't know what to think about the Milwaukee Brewers. I mean, they're that team that is always there. I mean, they're sitting around 500. They're 29 and 28 right now. They're 6.5 back. I don't know. They're really hard for me to kind of judge. They're 3.5 back out of the wild card. They're always a tough team for me to predict because I just don't know what this team is. And to be honest, I don't watch a ton of Milwaukee Brewers games. I probably should. But I don't know where I stand. Where do you guys stand on the Milwaukee Brewers? I mean, I think the Central is kind of up for grabs too. Other than the Cubs, I mean, who kind of takes over that second place spot? I mean, the Cardinals are there right now, right? So, yeah, and I mean they're kind of stretching it out. So Cardinals are 3 back from the Cubs. Brewers are 6.5 and third. Pirates and Reds are kind of nowhere to be found. But I don't know. It's going to be tough to see where the Brewers end up, but we will see. All right. They are the team that could miss the playoffs or make it to the NLCS, and you're not shocked either way. They need another arm in the rotation. Yeah, completely agree with that for sure. So we will see what happens. All right. Shohei Otani is the first player to 20 home runs this year. He is the best hitter in the league right now. Is he the best hitter in the league right now? And where do you rank Otani in best players ever based just on talent? For me, he's been on a tear lately. Otani has he's gotten a bulk of his 20 home runs like really quickly. He can be really, really hot. He can also just roll the ball over to second base numerous times in a stretch. He does have holes in his swing, but when he's locked in, you can't get him out, and he is one of the best. Talent, based on talent, he's probably one of the best ever. I mean, if you put his pitching talent in there, his hitting talent in there, he's best all around, right? I mean, it's hard to argue a two-way player with the elite stuff that he has on both sides. Injuries, obviously a factor there, but he definitely is the league's best hitter right now. Yeah, Shohei and the big dumper are bombing. You're completely correct. I mean, Cal Raleigh is on a tear too. That guy is unreal, on a heater. Yes, and maybe top 2, maybe 3 all time. John, I'm kind of with you. I know it's still quote unquote early in Otani's career. He's not going to necessarily have the compiled numbers like Babe Ruth, but I think he's up there. I mean, with everything that we have said, with the pitching, with the batting, like he is tops of the league in both when he is healthy. I'm glad that I've been able to watch it. He's 30, so we all know the contract he signed, 10 years. So he's got 8 more years left. That brings him to 38, 39 years old. What kind of numbers do we see out of him? I mean, we're at 245 home runs already. Another 8 at 40, 50 home runs a year. I mean, already at 20 this year. Does he make a run for 63? I don't know. Oh, and Shohei is one of the best things to happen to baseball in a long time. I agree, Captain. I mean, all of the fanfare when he came over to the Angels, he signed with the Angels. Even though he went to the Angels, everybody was still like, we must watch Shohei Otani. And as much as I hate that he is on the Dodgers, honestly, it's still incredible to watch this guy. I can't wait to see what happens if he does end up coming back to the mound and how they use them. I'm more curious on how they use him. if he does go out every fifth day, if he goes out, once every other time through the rotation, yeah, I just got to suck with the Angels cap on. Well, I'm not an Angels fan. I just have a collection of baseball hats. I wear a different one every week. I just love the hat. I'm not a huge Angels fan, but I have like 60 plus hats, and I just cycle through them all. So it was the Angels' turn this time. But yeah, 700. 700's a little steep for me, Captain. I mean, we're at 245 right now. I mean, if he hits 50 in the next 8 years, that gets him what? I don't know. My math is terrible. Another 400. Yeah, I don't know if he gets to 700. 700's a lot. Yeah, and I did see that Shohei has been throwing live BP this week, so he's kind of close. So we'll see what happens, but I'm more interested, like I said, to see how they use him on the mound once he is back. Yo, you got any more connections on Liz there, John? Because I would definitely take them. Man, 400 hats, worked for Liz for 17 years, and I'm jealous. So that's incredible. John Carter also says no one else can say that they are Barry Bonds, home run and steals, and Roger Clemens on the mound. He'd be an elite right fielder too if they gave him the chance. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just shy if he's 50 a year over 8. Yeah, that's what I thought too. I don't math. I've said that numerous times on the show. Math's not my strong suit, but yeah, he'd be just shy of 700. No doubt Hall of Famer. I mean, I don't think that's the question here, but we're all going to draw, or baseball fans across the country are going to draw the conclusions, the comparisons, to him and Babe Ruth. They just are, right? Babe Ruth pitched, Babe Ruth then hit. This guy's doing it at the same time, right? Babe Ruth didn't. Babe Ruth pitched and then he hit. Like, that's the difference. Was he still great at both? Yeah, absolutely. Not saying he wasn't. Could he have done both? Maybe. We don't know. But Shohei's doing them both at the same time. We've never seen that before. Pretty remarkable what he's doing. And yeah, you do kind of forget how good he is on the mound because he has been hurt. He's had the 2 Tommy Johns, or the 1 Tommy John and internal brace procedure, or whatever. It's a glorified Tommy John, whatever. Good. Captain, I can't spell, but I can math. Good. Between me and you, we can actually, put it together maybe. Unless it's definitive that he's in a betting scandal, he's in. I agree. Yeah. If his name somehow comes up in that whole thing again, man, that would be wild. Generational talent, can't deny it. 1,000% with you. Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, first one to 20 homers. Looked like Judge was going to get there. It was a race for 20 there for a while. It was Judge, Schwarber, Cal Raleigh. A lot of guys chasing 20 there. And then Shohei was like, yeah, okay, hold my beer. Watch this. So, all right. Let's get to my Arizona Diamondbacks. Wah, wah. I said Diamondbacks would have the best record in the league if the game was only 7 innings long. Now, that's a little tongue-in-cheek. But they are scoring a ton of runs and still losing. I know that Scanes ran through them the other day. They lost 10-1 to the Pirates, but they had the Pirates on the hold my sake. Yes, that's what I should have done, John. Yeah, hold my sake. My bad. I missed an opportunity there. Yeah, the amount of runs that the Diamondbacks are scoring and still losing is unfathomable. I think they said Zach Gallen leads the league in walks last night when I was watching the telecast. He got absolutely torched by the Pirates. And I don't know where the Diamondbacks go. They just got Justin Martinez back. But they're definitely, again, we'll get to them later. They're completely underachieving. Marte's day to day, he's got the flu. He's in real bad shape, I guess. But he'll be back. But it's not the offense that's the issue for the Diamondbacks. They can't prevent runs unless Corbin Burnes is on the mound. That's the only way. But even then, Corbin Burnes went out, threw 7 incredible innings, and then they still lost because the bullpen choked it away. So Diamondbacks are the NL Red Sox. I think I said it, a couple weeks ago or a couple episodes ago. I can't remember. They have the offense. They have the starting pitching that can somewhat get them there. And then their bullpen just absolutely coughs it up. So tough going for the Diamondbacks right now. They have the talent to turn it around, figure it out. I believe in Lovello. One of my friends asked, do they fire Torey Lovello at some point if this skid keeps going? And I hope not. I really love Torey Lovello as a manager. That could be my Red Sox bias coming through. But it's tough. If the manager's lost the clubhouse, then you kind of do have to let him go. I mean, obviously, we don't know if he's lost the clubhouse or not. We're not there. So it'll be interesting to see if the Diamondbacks can turn it around and save Lovello's job, which I don't even know if it's on the line, to be completely honest. But if they're underperforming like this, something drastic does have to happen. Captain, I'm with you. They have enough bats, but are there any trade targets out there? And this is when we're going to start hearing about the trade rumor going, right? We're going to start hearing teams calling around, looking for starting pitching, looking for bullpen help, because they don't need to bolster their offense anymore, really. I mean, their offense is there. They're scoring the runs. I mean, what was it? They've lost 3 games where they've scored 11 plus runs this year. And it's never happened before. I think they set a stat the other night. It was astonishing. It was like 266 when up by 6 or more runs, and 3 of them they've lost this year. That's inexcusable. You can't do that. And it's definitely that time of year. The rumor mill's gonna start flowing here real soon. We're gonna figure out who's on the move, who's not. There are some starting pitchers coming up from free agency, so we could see them being dealt. Bullpen arms are always, easy to move. So I think the Diamondbacks do pull the trigger at the deadline if they can kind of get it together here. I just hope they don't go into sell mode, because they do have a great core and they got to keep it together somehow. Drew Jones for pitching. I mean, anything at this point. They got to find somebody in the bullpen that can get people out. Because Scott McGuff's not doing it. Kevin Ginkel is all over the place for them, and can't get people out. It's tough to watch. But we'll see what the Diamondbacks do going forward. All right, let's get to some Red Sox news here. So a couple of kind of biggish stories came out about the Red Sox. No timetable for Alex Bregman and his return with a quad injury. The last time he had a quad injury in Houston, he was out for 2 months. So we could be in for an extended period of time with Bregman out. Are the Red Sox toast? Simple question to the chat. Are the Red Sox done this year? Are they toast? Now, Rafael Devers is on an absolute tear since starting 0 for 21. I mean, the dude's absolutely raking, driving in runs all over the place. Again, offense isn't an issue. Red Sox for the last 5, 6, 7 years can't prevent runs. Yeah, Devers right now, 287, 12 homers, 50 RBIs. He's got a 409 OBP. Like, he's getting it done. So it's not on Devers. It's on this Red Sox bullpen. Yeah, I don't know. They will need to make the discussion if it's worth it to try to win a wild card. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, probably. Sorry, Nick. No, and Captain, I'm with you. I don't think, Alex Cora was vocal last year around the trade deadline, asking Breslow, like, hey, why aren't we making moves to get better? Like, we're not out of it. Like, we're in this. Why aren't you trying to make this team better? So he was vocal about that. So we'll see. I don't know. This one's a tough injury to kind of overcome. Bregman's so steady. He's consistent at the plate. It's tough. But we'll see. John says, no, there's too much talent. And if one of the two, Mayer or Anthony, catch fire, they'll be fine. Yeah, we're going to get the next slide also is a Red Sox thing that kind of came up this week, which actually, you know what? I'll just turn to it now. We got Trevor Story. So rumors are absolutely flying around that there's a chance he gets DFA'd. So Red Sox fans and like writers out there are asking the question, does Trevor Story get DFA'd? He's at 218 batting average right now, 6 homers, 21 RBIs, 263 OBP. Not doing it. Trevor Story's always been a free swinger. But do the Red Sox just cut ties with him? Do they eat the contract, DFA him, and say, that's that? I don't know. That's a hard one. I think it depends on what Mayer does during this Bregman outage. Like, Bregman's out for an extended period of time. If Mayer comes up and shows that he is major league ready, and Bregman's due to come back, they might DFA Story and put Mayer in his place. I could see that. And then the next shoe to drop, like John says, is Roman Anthony coming up and making an impact. And John Temple says, yeah, I agree. Too much talent for the Red Sox to continue to struggle. I mean, yeah, they do have a ton of talent, but they have zero talent in the bullpen. And that's where the issue is. They cannot prevent runs at all. And it's brutal. Chad says GM needs to go unless they make a move at the deadline. I don't disagree. I think Breslow, having this be his first GM job, he might be a little bit over his head, not wanting to make quite a splash early on. I don't know. It's tough. I think, is it time for the Red Sox to dump Alex Cora? Is Cora the issue? We talked about that, a few times in the past few weeks. So I don't know. Captain, yeah, Story has been trashed since coming over from Colorado. Yeah, he has shown spurts of greatness, and he can get hot. And then he blows out his shoulder in Anaheim last year. That was a tough injury to watch. But yeah, I agree. He hasn't lived up to the contract here. And John, 1,000% with the $140 million is a lot to eat. It's the race to the DFA with him and Rendon. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and games are not played on paper. Sorry, Cora. Yeah, agree. His in-game management, I said it Sunday or Thursday. I can't remember. All my days are blurring together right now, but he kind of tends to get in a rut and do the same thing over and over and over and over again. Even if it's not working, he still kind of sticks to the same guys in the same situations. But we'll see. I mean, DFAing Trevor Story would be a crazy statement. And I think that would be, hey, we're not going to compete this year. Bye. And that doesn't really send a good message to the Sox. It doesn't send a good message to the Red Sox fans, who are very educated on their baseball. Sox fans are like no other. I mean, there's a lot of other great, knowledgeable fan bases, not saying that. But the Red Sox fans know their team. They know what's going on with the Boston Red Sox. If they DFA Trevor Story, that's the organization telling the fans that this season's over. We're going to try to rebuild for next year, or a couple seasons in the future. But yeah, just like another 7 and 12 teams this year, seasons will be like this, tides, and who knows how long low and high tides last. And that's for all teams that fall into this category. And that's fair, right? Baseball is a very streaky game. We say hitting is contagious. We say good pitching is contagious. A team gets hot, it's hard to take them down. Everybody's swinging the bats. Everybody's throwing the ball well. It's hard to take them down. I completely agree with that. But it seems like this team has ebbed a lot more than flowed this year. And they can't find consistent stretches of games. And the way that they're losing it, the way they're losing games is not good either. It's bad on the psyche. Like, you're losing in extra innings, you're losing on walk-offs, you're losing in the 8th inning, and then you only have one at bat to try to come back and win. Like, the way that they're losing games also hurts a team's psyche. So they got that not going for them as well. So yeah, I can hear it in the stands. Alex, you're a bum. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It might be time. Harrison said it a few weeks ago. Has the time with Cora run its course? He's not a big Alex Cora guy. He never has been. And I'm starting to I was just like dealt with Alex Cora. I've never been like anti-Cora. I've never been non-anti-Cora. If that even makes sense, non-anti-Cora. Never been pro-Cora, I guess you would say. I've just been kind of middle of the road with him. But he's been a 500 manager since 2018. So is he doing anything for your ball club? Is he making them better? I don't know if he is at this point. But we'll see which direction the Red Sox go. They got to find a way to turn it around. They need bullpen help at the deadline. I hope Breslow's right now calling every team trying to get an arm over here, because that's what they need. They need a couple lockdown guys in the 7th and 8th. Keep Chapman in the 9th. I'm fine with Chapman in the 9th. They just need bullpen help. Any chance Casas comes back this year? No, he's done. It was a torn patella tendon. He had it surgically repaired, and that rehab is not good. It is long. It is lengthy. I think there's zero chance that Casas comes back. I don't know the exact timetable for that. It says here he'll miss the rest of the 2025 season. I don't know if he'd be even ready for the beginning of spring training. Yeah, he ruptured the entire tendon. So, and that one's bad. That's your quad attached to your shin. I don't even know the timetable. I'm looking it up right now. But yeah, patellar tendon, you're not coming back at all. It says no weight bearing for 4 to 6 weeks. And you got to keep your legs straight for 6 weeks. The ability, you can't bend your knee for 12 weeks. And then healing time is 3 to 6 months after that, depending on the severity of the injury and treatment. So, I mean, so at least the end of the season, he's not coming back. Don't know if he'll be ready for the beginning of the year, but we will see. The biggest moves the Sox have made the past decade seem to revolve around who they have let walk or traded away, not who they have brought in to get better. That is a fantastic point, Chad. Harrison's favorite player of all time is Nomar Garcia Par. We all know what type of player Garcia Par was. But as soon as the Red Sox traded him away, they got Orlando Cabrera, Doug Mankiewicz, and Dave Roberts back. Are they better than Garcia Parra? No shot. No shot. But trading him away absolutely made the Red Sox better. That's a fantastic point. And maybe they're at that point. We were kind of almost calling for that with Devers at the beginning of the year when he's saying, like, oh, I'm not going to play third. Oh, I don't want to play first now. Like, I'm not a DH. I'm a third baseman. We're like, you got to get rid of that negativity. Now, that seems to have flipped a little bit, and it seems like Devers is, he's raking right now, which helps, right? When you're doing well, when you're performing well, that helps be a positive influence on the team. But I don't know. Maybe they do reset. I just don't know. I mean, you did things to make your team better to compete this year, and you're just not. So what's the issue here? Is it the GM? Is it the manager? Like you guys said, like the talent's there. You brought in Bregman. You brought in Crochet. You let go a key catching prospect in Kyle Teal, who could have come up and been the backstop for the Red Sox that we've needed for, since Veritek left. We haven't had a consistent catcher behind the plate, and good teams have a consistent good backstop. Look at the Giants run with Buster Posey. Look at the Cardinals with Yadier Molina. Look at the Yankees with Jorge Posada. Like, did they light the world on fire? No, but they were consistent backstops, field generals that were there night in, night out, did their jobs, performed, handled the pitching staff. Red Sox really haven't been able to find that guy since Veritek left. So Kyle Teal was a big move there. But getting Crochet is also a no-brainer. And if it takes Kyle Teal to get a Crochet, you're going to do it. The Red Sox made moves to compete this year. They got to make a couple more. The bullpen, and maybe it's Cora. I hate to say it, but maybe it is. Because I don't know where else you go from here. I love Carlos Novis. He has come up and absolutely he pretty much stole the job from Connor Wong. Like, no doubt. The way he is handling the pitching staff, and he's even providing offense out of that spot, which, we weren't expecting out of him. But yeah, you're right. Wong, Sable, and Narvaez, they aren't the answer. They need to find somebody else that can be there, a consistent backstop. I'm not asking a catcher to come over, hit 335 homers and 100 RBIs. I'm not asking for that. I'm asking for a guy that can be there, be solid, put up consistent, solid at bats, and handle the pitching staff night in and night out. That's all I'm asking for. But yeah, and Chad, Devers coming out the way he did with the no DH comments probably is a sign of the hold of lack thereof Cora has on the clubhouse. Yeah, agree. Yeah, and for the front office to all fly out to Kansas City to talk to Devers about this also shows that maybe Cora doesn't have a hold on that clubhouse. That's a great point. All right, enough about the Red Sox there. They make me mad. All right. So this was a suggestion by John Carter, and I thought this was definitely worth bringing up because this could get very interesting. With Julio Urias' suspension coming to an end after the 2025 All-Star break for violating the league's domestic violence policy for a second time, where will he sign, if anywhere? And I put underneath this picture, what will Bauer say if he signs? Because you want to talk about, for the lack of a better word, a shitstorm from Trevor Bauer. It will be absolutely insane if Urias comes out of this suspension after his second DV violation and signs with the team. For me, I don't think it happens. I don't think a team is going to take a flyer on this. It's his second violation. I could be wrong, but if Bauer hasn't signed and his was just allegations, and this is convicted DV here, I don't think a team signs him. Even with teams that are desperate. I mean, Red Sox could use him. There's a lot of teams that could use him. But Dodgers were just like, yeah, we're good. Bye. Released him. But I don't know. Where do you guys think about this? Where does he go? Does he sign? Does it change things if he pitches well in the WBC? I don't know. Is he slated to pitch for the WBC in 2026? It could. Maybe he takes the rest of the year off. No team signs him. He goes in the WBC and dominates. Maybe, but he still has all that background stuff. I don't know if a team wants to deal with that. That's a tough one. I don't really know. I'm at the point where if they are so against Trevor Bauer, there's no way that this guy gets signed either. But Chad says he shouldn't get signed, but he also hasn't been anti-MLB the way Bauer was with comments. You never know. And that's a fair point too. I've said it on the show before. Trevor Bauer was kind of, trashing the MLB before all of the off the field stuff happened. He's questioned everything, the sticky stuff, the rules, everything like that. He was very vocal about that on social media. Urias hasn't done that. He's got just the off the field issues. Maybe he's getting the help he needs to better himself as a human being. Maybe not. I don't know. For me, I don't think a team takes a chance on him here. But I mean, we'll see. And John, I'm kind of with you. Maybe the WBC does change it. Maybe he goes out and dominates, and the team's like, listen, we can't not afford to not sign him. Sorry, that was a really backward sentence, but I don't know. It's a tough one. It's a tough one for me. Ultimately, I don't think he signs anywhere. I don't think any team wants that in their clubhouse, around their clubhouse, in their organization, around the organization, especially since he was charged a second time for it. I don't think it happens. So, all right. This one was from Chad. So thank you, Chad. With the MLB lockout looming at the end of 2026, where is this heading? Will there be baseball in 2027? What will the players have to concede on? What will the owners have to concede on? And what's the outcome going to be? This is a lot to unpack. I know we've kind of started to unpack it a little bit here and there in previous shows. For me, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to all of it tonight, but here we go. Where is this heading? I think we're in for a long lockout. I think we are in for a shortened season in 2027 if we get baseball at all in 2027. It could be a long year of me and Harrison coming on this show, talking to you guys in the chat about how awesome baseball was back in the day, because this could be a long one. And it's a long one on many fronts, right? The half a season at best, John's saying. Replacement players, yeah, romantic about baseball. It's going to be ugly. It really is. Like, I am not looking forward to this at all. I hate I'm gonna say this. I don't think we have baseball in 2027. There's too much to cover. The players' contracts are astronomical. You can't have Juan Soto, who doesn't bring a whole country like Shohei does. Right? Shohei brings all that money from Japan. Right? So his $700 million, as crazy as that was when he signed, and we were all like, 700 is crazy. The Dodgers have already made that back in Shohei marketing money already. So that contract is kind of an outlier, right? Juan Soto possibly being able to make $800 million by the time his contract is over is ridiculous. There's no reason in any way, shape, or form that contract should have ever been offered, let alone signed. Like, it's too much. And you're a league that prides themselves on parity and different World Series winners every year, which we've had for the last, we haven't had a repeat winner since the Yankees. So, and that was a while ago. There's a lot to unpack. And this is where, Chad, I'm with you. I doubt we will ever see a salary cap, but players are going to have to be okay with a limit on the length of the deal. So this is where a lot of it is going to be, because the MLBPA is going to dig their heels in and say, there's no way you're putting a salary cap on my guys, on the teams, so my guys can't make the money. Now, Harrison has kind of he's better at this money stuff than I am. I wish he was here to kind of really break this down with us. But for me, I think the upper teams, your Dodgers, your Red Sox, your Yankees, all them, I think they would be okay with a salary cap. They would be okay to deal with it. They would find the loopholes. They would still exploit it like they have already. They would find ways around it, and they would still be able to succeed. Where I think the owners are going to have to concede or not, and this is why we could be in for a long lockout, I don't know if the owners are going to go for a salary floor. Now, I don't know if they're going to want to put that in or not. I think they should. I think you should make the Pirates spend. I've said it before. They haven't signed a multi-year free agent deal since 2016. That's ridiculous. You need to make these lower market teams spend at least to try to put some sort of product on the field. Now, the A's were kind of forced to do it this year. That's why they signed Severino. That's why they signed the extension. They had to get over a threshold without, being out of compliance. But the players are going to have to succeed. I don't know if the length or it's just the yearly salary. The yearly salaries are crazy. No reason that, like I said, Soto's worth $50 million. I don't know. There's too much. I'm kind of all over the place right now. So let's go. Sorry, it too much to unpack all at once here. So what will the players have to concede on? For me, length of contract is a tough one too, because the league is so young, right? These young, we just talked about Jack Caglianone coming up, Bobby Witt coming up. All these guys, the last 4 or 5 years, we have seen a plethora of young guys come up and kind of push veterans out of their positions, and they've had to either retire or kind of float around in AAA to try to find a spot, or they go play out of the country. I think the 14 and 15-year deals are a way to give them job security. I don't think those will go away. I think those have to stay. I think the salary cap does have to happen, and it has to be a hard cap with harsh penalties. If you want to defer money, that's fine. But the deferred money has to be considered for that yearly salary cap. So Shohei Otani, right? $2 million a year. The rest is deferred until, 2,100, right? But his $47 million a year or his $70 million a year should count against the cap every year that he is actively playing. If he is actively on the field and playing, his salary should count towards the cap. And right now it doesn't. I think it was 47 towards a luxury tax or something like that. So if you want to defer the money, that's fine. That's your own prerogative. You can do that. But it's going to count against the cap for this year, the years that he's playing for your team. I don't know if, again, I'm just spitballing. I don't know if this is the framework that's going to be laid out. There's too much to unpack on both sides, the owner sides and the player side, for this to be a quick and easy outcome. I mean, owners are already starting to meet on the side on their own, trying to get ready for this. And we're still a year and a half out. I mean, almost 2 years, right? They know that this is going to be a lengthy one. The MLBPA is like, hey, listen, you're already paying my players this much. You're not taking it away. There's no way that you can do that. You can't take away their opportunity to spend. And on the flip side, maybe that's how they sell it. It's like, all right, well, if we tell these lower market teams that they have to spend a certain amount, then that's where your players can make up the money on the back end, right? Because if the Pirates are spending, $27 million a year or whatever their payroll is, if they're forced to spend an extra $40-50 million a year, then the MLB Players Association is like, okay, well, you're still paying our players, just kind of like on the back end there. That could be a possible scenario where both sides concede on. But either way, it's going to be a back and forth, dig their heels in. No one's going to budge for a while. And I don't know who's going to cave first, because the game can't be played without players. So, I mean, the MLBPA, I think, has all the leverage here. Owners really don't. So it's tough for me. I don't know. We'll see. But, oh yeah, I've said that. So John says I feel a $250 million salary cap, 150 low, and max 3 deferred salaries. Okay, so putting only 3 players can be deferred. All right. I mean, I can kind of see that. Give us a better TV contract. Yeah, I know MLB is trying to figure all that stuff out. We'll see what happens there. I don't know. That's a mess right now too. Harrison's all over that one too. Really missing him right now, because he would be able to really break this down better than I have. Yeah, Griffey just got the last of his money from the Reds. $5.5 million a year, crazy. Yeah, not making salaries count on the books is crazy to me. I don't understand this one either. I don't understand how Shohei Otani's $70 million a year breaks down to 47. I don't know if it was because of signing bonuses or what. I don't know exactly how that's structured. But for it to not count for 70 million against the cap to me, or the luxury tax threshold, is crazy to me as well. I don't understand it. Maybe have max contracts like in the NBA, limit a team to maybe 2 or 3 max guys. Don't hate that idea. And they should only be able to defer 1 or 2 players at the most, and only a percentage of the amount of the deals should be able to be deferred. I agree with that point 100%, Michael. I mean, I am with this, and I've brought that up. I think when we were really talking about these contracts and the deferred, like they should only be able to defer a certain percentage. They shouldn't be able to defer 98% of it until after the guy's playing. That's crazy. And especially since it doesn't count towards the threshold. Like, to me, yes, good for the Dodgers for exploiting that loophole. Great. Happy for them. It's smart. It's smart business. Like, we'll worry about paying him later. Cool. That's fine. And they exploited the loophole. They're using it. Great. You got to fix it. And I think that will come up in the lockout for sure. Like, that will be talked about. Because the deferred money was essentially put in for the lower market teams to be able to compete. It was to keep that parity in the league. It was so the Pirates could afford, a Bobby Bonilla or a Ken Griffey Jr. or somebody like that. Like, hey, this is our only chance to get a star, but we're going to have to pay him over 35 years. We can't pay him his actual contract, which is, 10 years. We can't afford that. But over 30 years, we can. That was to help the Rockies. That was to help the Pirates, like I said, Marlins, all those lower market teams that don't bring in a lot of revenue. That's what that was essentially used for. Dodgers took it, ran with it. Other teams have done it too. It's not just the Dodgers. The Dodgers are just kind of at the forefront because of the Otani contract. But essentially that was put in for lower market teams. That will be addressed in the lockout. That's another one. What is the outcome going to be? I don't know. It's so far jumbled and messed up to me that I don't know exactly what the result is. But this lockout is going to be long. We are going to be on here every week talking about how insane it is. The money totals thrown around. We're going to be talking about that. I know. We're going to be talking about the stubbornness on both sides. It's going to be messy. And I hope we have baseball in 2027. But I don't think so. I don't think we will. This is going to, unless some miracle happens, I don't think we will. I think we're in for possibly the longest stoppage in baseball history. There's too much money involved for this to not drag on, which is unfortunate that it's come to that. But that's where I stand on the lockout. This is going to be ULGY. Algae. Yep. Absolutely algae. So I don't know. It's too bad. I mean, I hate it. Yeah, I know what you were saying, John. It's ugly. I got you. I mean, oogly works too. So, it sucks. It does. Plain and simple, it sucks. I just hope it's not as long as we're all making it out that it's going to be. But I mean, if we're all thinking it, looks like we're heading that way, which is completely unfortunate. But good thing there's a lot of things in baseball history that we can pull apart and pick apart to get us through this lockout. And I mean, you guys have been awesome sending me messages and sending me messages about topics and stuff like this. Like these last 2 topics that you guys sent me this week, this is awesome. It was a huge help. So really appreciate it. And I love talking about stuff that you guys like to talk about. So pretty cool. So keep it up. And obviously we'll keep each other posted on what's going to be happening with this lockout, but it is not going to be pretty. Dyslexic, not am I. Yeah, 1,000%. All right. Here we go, fellas. We'll take a trivia break here. Get ready. Buckle up. Here we go. Oh, here. Hold on. Before we start, Michael says the money the players make are crazy. I used to take my daughter to games, but can't afford them anymore. Baseball have a really hard time coming back from this, and when it happens, I agree to a certain extent. There is a way that they could get through this lockout and still keep it semi-affordable for fans. I mean, I know it's not. Like, baseball it's hard to get to games now without spending $500+ for a family of four, and that's terrible. I hate that. I really do. Like, gone are the days. Like, I mean, I went to the Rockies game, I don't know, not that long, maybe 10, 15 years ago, and I got in for $4, right? Again, I know it's the Rockies. I get it. But gone are those days, right? There's no way that we can get into a ball game for less than $55, $70 in most spots. And you're sitting upper deck, center field. Like, upper deck where the athletic sign was in the old Oakland Coliseum. That's probably where $75 is going to get you. Yeah, it's crazy. Baseball games are expensive. I hope this lockout doesn't make it so astronomical that no one can go anymore. But less oxygen to have to pay for in Colorado. Yeah. All right, here we go. MLB trivia. Here is the first one. Here we go. Who was the first pitcher to be elected into the Hall of Fame that was considered primarily as a reliever? So, first pitcher to be elected into the Hall of Fame that was considered primarily a reliever. Anybody have any guesses on this one? This guy played from 52 to 72, so 20-year career. He played for a bunch of teams. Played for the New York Giants, the Cardinals, the Indians, the Orioles, White Sox, Angels, Braves, Cubs, back to the Braves, and then ended with the Dodgers. Hoyt Wilhelm. John Carter, man. Whew. You are on a hot streak these last few weeks. It is definitely Hoyt Wilhelm. Whew, goodness. English is hard, fellas. Yes. Nice job, John. All right. Here's the next one. Who was the first Mets player in franchise history to record a 100+ RBI season? So we actually had this guy on a couple weeks ago. We had a trivia question. This guy is also the same player to record 500 hits for 4 separate franchises, who's the only player to ever do that as well. So this is the same guy for this question. So first Mets player franchise history to record 100+ RBI seasons. Who do you guys got? He's also got one of the best nicknames out there, for sure. The 4 teams he got his 500 hits with are the Mets, the Astros, the Tigers, and the Expos. Rusty Staub is correct, John Carter. Nice job. Rusty Staub. Nice work. All right. Next one. I think this next one's kind of a layup for you guys, too. I think you'll get this one. Who was the first player to hit a home run for both the American League and the National League in an all-star game? And if you think about this one, this is kind of a no-brainer for sure. I'm pretty famous from going to both leagues. But, yeah, Hall of Famer here. Who do you guys think? I know you're on a little bit of a delay, so I'll wait a second. There it is. There's our Jamie Moyer comment. Always got one. It is not Jamie Moyer. I think he only hit a home run once. It was for the American League. Griffey's a good guess, not Griffey. Before Griffey's time. This guy also won an MVP in both leagues. That might help. Jimmy Fox? Nope, not Jimmy Fox. Good guess. Paul Molitor is a good guess, not Paul Molitor. Think Cincinnati Reds. Think Baltimore Orioles. First black manager ever, I believe he was. Yep, first black manager ever. This is Frank Robinson. Yes, Frank Robinson homered for both the AL. Yeah, so much for that layup, Captain says. Yes, there you go, John. You got it. Frank Robinson. Yep. Oh, wrong Robinson, John. You got Brooks, but yep. Nope. Frank Robinson. Good. What position? Yeah, we got him. Yep. Frank Robinson. Good, Chad. Nice. All right. Here is the next one. This is from Chad. So, Chad, do not answer. Who is the only player to play in the Little League World Series, College World Series, MLB World Series, the Olympics, and World Baseball Classic? So who is the only player to play in all of those? And Chad sent this one to me because if you guys listen a lot, I mention this guy a lot. He's my favorite player of all time. But pretty cool trivia question. Nope, not Frazier. Good guess, not Todd Frazier. This guy played for Georgia Tech. He was a catcher. Only played for one franchise in his career in the MLB. Yes, it is Tom Selleck. That's a good guess, not him. It is Jason Varitek, John Temple. Good. Yep, Jason Varitek, my man. Love Jason Varitek. So, yes, the only player to play in all of them. All right, here is the next one. What Giants pitcher threw a one-hitter with 12 Ks in a 2-0 victory over the Phillies, becoming the first player since 1900 to throw a one-hitter in their debut? No, not Maldonado. That's a good guess. Not Maldonado on the first one. Yep, Michael, you're right. It was Jason Varitek. Good. I had two future Red Sox teammates with him on 94. Yep, good. Yes, Jeff, nice job. Juan Marichal is correct. Nice job, Jeff. Nice work. Oh, yeah, your boy from GT at Veritech, Lincecum. Yeah, I wish it was Lincecum. I mean, he's up there, but yeah, Marichal was the one that did it. Nice. All right, here is the next one. So kind of go back to the trivia question we had before this, but listen. 2004 was the first time in MLB World Series history that former Little League World Series contestants faced each other. Who were they? So you guys should get one of these, kind of a layup, right? It's kind of a piggyback question here. So you can get one. Yeah, the Lincecum and Marichal wind up pretty much the same. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so you guys should get one of them for sure because we kind of just talked about it. But who was the second one? So obviously you got to know who the other team was in the 2004 World Series, right? So obviously as a Red Sox fan, I know this one like the back of my hand. So who would have faced off against one of my Red Sox that was also in the Little League World Series? Veritek and David Eckstein, good guess. The other player is actually a pitcher, so they actually faced off against each other. So the other one's actually a pitcher. Veritek is one, but it's not Eckstein. Eckstein's a good guess. Eckstein could probably still play in the Little League World Series because he's so tiny. Was a pitcher. This pitcher played for a few teams in his career. He played for the Cardinals. He played for the Braves, then the Cardinals, then the Cubs, Nationals for a couple of years, Diamondbacks for one, Twins, Padres, and then finished with the Reds in 2015. That's kind of the pitcher's career path there. The second player is Jason Marquis. So Jason Marquis and Jason Veritek played in the Little League World Series. And then they faced off in the 2004 World Series. It's the first time that two former Little League World Series contestants faced off against each other. So I thought it was pretty cool. And that came on the heels of Chad's trivia question. I was looking up Jason Veritek stats and stuff like that and saw that that was there. So that was pretty cool. All right, next one. What New York Mets pitcher set a team record by striking out 11 batters in their MLB debut in 2012? This guy came up and was a big to-do for the Mets, and they thought that he was going to be their saving grace going forward. And this guy had some serious stuff when he burst onto the scene and then kind of fizzled out fairly quickly. Came up in 2012, like I said. 2013, he was an all-star. Missed time the whole season in 2014. Came back in 15 and really wasn't the same. It's not Thor. That's a good guess. It's not Syndergaard. Not Syndergaard, but he does have. It is Batman. It is for sure Batman. Nice job, Chad Edwards. It is Matt Harvey. Good. Yes. Good. Yep. Matt Harvey. Nice job. All right. I got two more for you. Here we go. Who was the first pitcher to throw a perfect game that was born outside of the United States? Yeah, good, Captain Harvey. Yeah, I just remember his nickname. Yeah, that's what as soon as every time I hear his name, Chad, I'm like, yep, definitely Matt Harvey, Batman, for sure. Yeah. All right. So this one, who was the first pitcher to throw a perfect game that was born outside of the United States? This happened in 1991 for the Montreal Expos. So that might narrow it down for you guys. Not Felix. Not Nomo. That's a great guess. Not Nomo. Before him. Did Nomo have a perfect game or just a no-hitter? I think he just had a couple no-hitters. I don't know if he had a perfect game. He might have. I can't remember. Yeah, I think just no-hitters for Hideo Nomo, but he had like 2 or 3 of them. It is Dennis Martinez, John Carter. Nice job. Dennis Martinez for the Expo in 1991. Nice work. Pedro's a good guess, Captain. Yep, not Pedro. It is Dennis Martinez. Good. All right. Last one I have for tonight. This one might be a tough pull. So here we go. Who was the last pitcher to pitch in all 7 games of the World Series, accomplishing this in 2017 with the Dodgers? The last pitcher to pitch in all 7 games, which is crazy now, right? I mean, don't even think about pitchers throwing back-to-back days. Yes, Michael, you are correct. Dennis Martinez. Nice job. Yeah. Last pitcher to pitch in all 7 games of the World Series. Did it in 2017. Gagne. Good guess. Not Eric Gagne. And I think once you hear the name, you guys would be like, oh, yeah, he definitely did deal for them in 2017. Like, he was in a lot of games for them. 2017, he was on the year, he was 6-0. So that might give you a little bit of a hint. He had a 2.06 ERA, pitched in 45 games. He had 50 strikeouts in 43 innings. He was pretty darn good. Joe Kelly, good guess, not him. Kenley Jansen, good guess, not him. K-Rod, good guess, not him either. This one might be a tough pull. This player did pitch for Seattle in 2007 to 2009. Went to Toronto for 5 years until 2014. Was with the Padres for 2, the Dodgers for the 1 year in 2017, and then the Cubs in 2018. I don't know if that helps you guys at all, but give you a few more seconds, and then I'll lay it on you. Like I said, it's a little bit tougher, so it might be a bigger pull for you guys. He wore number 17 for the Dodgers. Again, don't know if that helps. Oh, he pulled it. Nice job, Michael. Brandon Morrow is correct. Nice work. Yes, he's the last pitcher to pitch in all 7 games. Nice job. Yes, Brandon Morrow. Nice job. All right. That is, nope, not left-handed pitcher. He was a righty. Yep, for sure. Oh, yep, then John got it right after. Nice job, guys. Nice. Pulled it. All right. To kind of end the show here, we're going to go over all the teams and how I feel about them right now. You guys can tell me if I'm wrong. I want you to. But this is how I am feeling at this moment. So we're going to start in the American League. Do I think they're over or underachieving? And then sometimes I just put expected because I think they're on the track of where they are. So Yankees right now, I'm kind of both here. I'm kind of over and expected, right? The Yankees were expected to be as good as they are, but they're kind of overachieving too because of the injuries with Garrett Cole, Giancarlo Stanton. I mean, we just lay them all out there. Or Cabrera, all those injuries. I think they're expected to a little bit overachieving here for me. Anyways, again, if you guys disagree with me in the chat, I want you to tell me. Absolutely. Red Sox under. I mean, we spent a little bit on the Red Sox. I think they're completely underachieving for sure. They got too many holes in the bullpen for sure. The Rays, for me, I think are overachieving. I expected them to finish last in this division. They are currently in second. Yes, they're second place in the AL East. I mean, they're 7 games back, but yeah. I mean, they're overachieving. I didn't expect the Rays to be anywhere near second place ever. But yeah. Orioles kind of goes without saying. I mean, 19-36. That team is struggling. I mean, and that's the understatement of the season. Orioles are brutal right now. And Blue Jays are under, I would say under. Now, I could also argue that the Blue Jays are expected. Because that's what the Blue Jays have been the last few years. But I still think with their additions, their pitching staff, their offense, they should be better than they are, and they're not. But year after year, I could argue that they are expected. All right, AL Central, Guardians, expected for me. I think they're playing where they should. All right, here we go. Okay, so Chad, you think the Rangers are a little under? Okay, we'll get to them in a second. Mariners. White Sox aren't the worst team in baseball. Over for sure. Okay, I can get there. Twins have been both this year, but separately, currently overachieving. But give it time. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna get to them. And the Rays always seem to overachieve. You're not wrong, Captain. The Rays always seem to find a way to win somehow. I don't know how, but they do. They find ways to win, and they're in the same boat as the A's. They're playing in a minor league ballpark, spring training park, whatever you want to call it, and they're still able to kind of go out of their routines and do what they need to. And they're sitting in second place in the AL East. The Tigers are expected, and the Guardians are an under for me. Okay, that's fair. I put the Tigers over. They're good. They're really good. But for me, I didn't expect them to be this good already. I knew they were getting there. So that's, to me, why I put them as an over. I did do these real quick when I got home from work tonight, so I kind of quickly thought through them just to give you guys a heads up. But to me, I think the Tigers are a little over just because I didn't expect them to be this good this quickly. So that's why. Twins over for me for sure. I didn't expect them to be as kind of hot as they had been. They've kind of pulled themselves out of the dumps because Harrison and I are sitting here talking about the Twins being the worst team in the league. This was second week of the season, so take that as you will. But they look horrendous, and they've completely turned it around. They're 5 games above 500. So they look good. I think they're overachieving. White Sox, as everybody said in the chat, probably over because they're not the worst team in the league. So, yeah. Yeah, Jeff, I see Yankee Dodgers series again, possibly San Diego Yankees. Yeah. We're going to get to the Dodgers in a little bit because they're interesting to me. I think they do have holes. Injury is a big hole for them. The bottom of their lineup can be a hole. I think they're more vulnerable than we thought they were going to be at the start of the season. But, yeah, the Tigers are getting bats back in their lineup, so they're going to be better still. Yeah, absolutely. All right, over to the AL West. Angels over. They just got off an 8-game winning streak. They've lost 2 or 3 in a row to the Yankees. So, they're kind of there. I expected them to be last place. They're battling for last place here in the AL West. But I still think they're over what we all thought. They have some decent pieces in there. Talked about them a little bit when Trout earlier. Think the Angels are a little bit overperforming right now. But that will probably change. Athletics are expected. Everything, again, we talked about earlier. Young offense, no pitching, and kind of bottom of the division there. Astros are under for me because, the Houston Astros, even though they're only a half game out of first place, they've been at the top of that AL West for years. Every time we talk about the AL West, we talk about the Astros winning the division. I still don't know the makeup of that team and which direction they're going to go, which makes me think that they're under. Could also argue that they're expected, but I think I'm bordering under there for the Astros. Sorry. Mariners, no doubt. Here we go, John's Pacific Northwest. Here we go. Mariners are over for me. Cal Raleigh's on a tear. Their offense is hitting. That was the one thing we said in this offseason was, what are the Seattle Mariners doing not addressing this offense? And the lineup has completely shut us up. They are hitting. They're mashing. They're playing well. I think the Mariners are playing over their heads right now. I don't know. They're just way over to me. And they've lost some arms, and they're still performing. So good for the Mariners right now. Are the Astros under just for name recognition or recency bias? I don't like their roster much. Yeah, I don't either. I think the Astros are weird for me. that's why I kind of said like expected or under. I don't really care for their roster much either. I mean, I didn't know what the Astros were doing in the offseason, like signing Christian Walker, then trading Kyle Tucker away, then kind of putting Valdez on the trade block, and then not trying to go after Bregman. Like I don't know. It was the Astros are weird. I just say that they're kind of under, and it might be name recognition or recency bias, but for me, they're always at the top of the AL West until somebody can dethrone them. They haven't been dethroned, so to me, that's why they're under. If they're not at the top, they're underperforming. Yeah. Thanks, Captain. Appreciate it. Yeah. I know you said earlier in the chat you thought the Rangers were under. I can agree with that to a certain extent. I mean, it's hard, they come off the World Series a couple of years ago, and you think that they would have the pieces to keep competing, but it's just injuries for the Rangers. I mean, Josh Young going out early, coming back, like it's always injuries for the Rangers. So they're there because I've almost expected it out of the Rangers so far. And yeah, this could be the reason they're under. I agree. Their offense is certainly not what it should be. I know a few weeks back we were talking about Adolis Garcia was the only guy driving in runs for them. The only guy. Like if he didn't go deep in a game, the Rangers didn't score. They had 5 games in a row without a home run. It was tough. So Rangers are a middle of the road team to me right now. So I don't know. And Captain agree. The Rangers have not proved it since the World Series. 1,000% agree. Michael, I am with you 1,000% here. Jacob Wilson for the A's is exciting to watch. I am playing him over O'Neal Cruz at short. It's a no-brainer pick for me at shortstop every night in my fantasy league. This kid is awesome. If you have not watched Jacob Wilson or the A's at all play, you guys need to find a way to watch an A's game. Their offense is fun and exciting to watch. Wilson's a blast at the plate. His approach at the plate is incredible. Doesn't strike out. And if he does, it's on a pitch that's called, strike 3 on a pitch that's 10 inches outside. Not Wilson's fault, which we've talked about umpires before. But yeah, his approach to the game, his at bat, his defense is great. He's a blast to watch. He's one of my favorite players to watch right now for sure. I don't miss many A's games now. Glad I missed today's though. It sounds like, but they have been great to watch late at night for sure. Yeah, and John, the Rangers can't stay healthy. That's where I'm at with them. That's why I kind of say expected for them. They're expected to get hurt. I hate that I say that, but that's the expectation is they can't stay on the field. And they're set up for the middle for years if they play it right. Yeah, I agree. Seager and Simeon, one of the best double play combinations in the league offensively, right? I mean, those two can put up serious numbers if they're right. Marcus Simeon is there day in and day out. He doesn't miss time. But yeah, Daddy Jack Wilson is proud of him for sure. Yeah, he's a fun little ball player to watch for sure. All right. Gonna take a little breather, get a little drink here, and then talk the NL here. All right. We'll start in the NL East. Braves are an interesting one to me. I put expected just for the fact that they started so poorly and they're somehow able to get where they are now. I mean, they're still below 500, but they're playing better baseball. So for me, hydrate. Yeah, I got you, Captain. You guys can probably start to hear my voice starting to go here. Don't realize how much I talk without Harrison, but yeah. So the Braves are, yeah, and this is why I said expected, John, 1,000%. I think the Braves it's a nice recovery for them after starting horrendously. So that's why I've kind of put expected here. Otherwise than that, I don't really have anything to go on. I mean, they're 9.5 back out of first. Phillies leading that division. But yeah, it's just based on the recovery there. Mets are an over for me. Like, they're 2 games back out of first place, but we went into the season. I said me and Harrison, we asked each other, like, where are they going to get their starting pitching from? We didn't think that. Okay, that's fair. Mets with their payroll will always be under. Yeah. I mean, they're underachieving from what their payroll says. I can definitely get behind that argument for sure. I think they're overachieving just because they're starting pitching. I didn't know where they were going to get outs from. Did not see Clay Holmes coming up and dealing in the rotation early on. I did not see, Griffin Canning coming in and making the impact. I just didn't know where they were going to get their starting pitching from. So for me, that's why I think the Mets are over for me. Yeah. And Michael, fair point. The Braves can't get any kind of win streak going at all. Yeah, and maybe that is a kind of an underperforming Braves team at the moment. But again, like we've talked about with the Red Sox, they got too much talent for them to just kind of not find it at some point in this season and get scorching hot. The Braves have the capacity to do that. Profar being a bust and not having Acuna to start the year, it's amazing they are where they are. 1,000% agree. They have turned it around because I was ready to cash the Braves in early on in the season. Harrison stuck with them. Harrison was correct. He's like, listen, the Braves aren't going to be that bad for the rest of the season. I know they started tough. They started in San Diego. They started in LA. Like, those are 2 teams that you don't want to start the season off with. And they got handled by both of them. So they're still digging their way out of that hole, but it's good. Can Soto get him a starter too? I don't know. With his lack of hustle, I don't think they want him on the mound. Yeah, the NL is stacked from 3 to 10. Top two teams will be the Dodgers and Phillies. 3 and 10 is a crapshoot. I completely agree. I've been saying it all year. The NL wild card and the AL Central are going to be the best races, I think, down the stretch. NL West could get interesting if the Diamondbacks could figure it out. But other than that, I think it's that the NL wild card, like it was last year, is going to be insane. And if Strider can get right, that will make a huge difference. Completely agree with the Braves there for sure. Nationals are expected for me. Maybe slightly over 2 here. They are crazy young. James Wood is the real deal. That kid just hits missiles and bombs all over the place. That kid's going to be fun to watch. I wish I could tune into Nationals games. I'm blacked out of the Braves, Nationals, and Orioles, so I don't get to see much of them. But I think there is expected possibly a slight over just because of their youth. And Captain says, I was with you, Nick. I was ready to write the Braves loss. Harrison is 100% right about him. Yeah, I was. I was just looking at the makeup of the team. They didn't seem to have like any drive early on. They were just kind of going through the motions. And Harrison was right. So tip of the hat to you, Harrison. NL West make it 4 teams, and it's crazy to think about. Yeah, if the Diamondbacks can figure it out, I mean, they will. Eventually, the D-backs will figure it out. Giants are starting to come back down to earth, but there's still 6 games over 500. At this moment, the NL West is sitting pretty. That would be crazy to see 4 teams get in. Yeah, Wood has hit 2 bombs in Seattle last couple of games. Yeah, the kid's legit. He's gonna be a problem for many teams for sure. All right, Marlins. They're over for me. I know they're 10 games below 500. I thought we would be talking about the Marlins like we're talking about the Rockies. but they're exciting to watch too as well. I mean, they got a lot of young prospects in the off seasons. Harrison called it again, right? He said the Seattle Mariners, the Miami Marlins won the trade deadline last year when they just completely raked everybody out of their farm systems. They sold everybody, got a ton of prospects back. They're all coming up, and they all have something to prove, and they're playing like it. They're a lot of youth, very raw, but they are fun to watch. Kyle Stowers, I think he's going to make the All-Star team from that Marlins squad. He's come up with some huge hits, some walk-offs. He had a walk-off grand slam against Mason Miller, I think, the other night, a couple weeks ago. Marlins are overperforming, or overachieving, I should say. But, I mean, being in last place, it is what it is. Phillies are expected. Like, we expect the Phillies to be at the top of the division. They are at the top of the division. That lineup's deep. That rotation's deep. I mean, I know Aaron Nola's struggling, but they still have guys that can throw. The Phillies are expected to me. All right. NL Central. Cardinals are way over. I wrote the Cardinals off from day one. I thought they were going to finish last. I thought they were going to finish behind the Pirates. That's how bad I thought the Cardinals were going to be this year. I did not expect the Cardinals to be 8 games over 500 at this point in the season, or any point of the season, to be completely honest. I thought they would be a 500 team at best, but they're proving me wrong, and they're playing great baseball. Is it all over for Aaron Nola? That's tough. I mean, I don't know. He's too good to not figure it out, I think. And he's 1-7 with a 6.16 ERA. I mean, it's just his strikeout numbers are there. He's got 52 and 49 and 2/3. It's just, so it's weird. Like, he's got his swing and miss, but he's also, leaving belt high hangers and fastballs. So they could tweak a mechanic and he could find his location again. He could be okay, but I don't know. That's a great question, John. I don't know. Crazy. Did you expect the Rockies to be on pace for 30 wins this year? I'll get to the Rockies in a second, but I'm saying they're expected to be bad. I wasn't expecting them to be this bad, so maybe they are under. But like I said, I kind of threw this together real quick and just kind of talking through them with these guys. But we'll get to the Rockies in a second. Yeah, Brewers are over to me. Again, I said it earlier in the show. I never know how to predict the Brewers. I don't watch a ton of them. They're 7-3 in their last 10, so pretty decent there. They're on a 4-game winning streak because, well, they just played my Boston Red Sox, so of course they are. But they're always there at the end of the season. But I didn't know where they were going to get their pitching from this year. With Woodruff on the shelf to start, and I think they're just a little bit overperforming. So, yeah. Cubs, I have expected, question mark. I have the Cubs as a question mark as expected because we looked at the NL Central as a whole, and we figured that the Cubs were going to be the best team of that division, which they are. They're in first place. I think they're clearly the best team in that division. They're up on the Cardinals by 3 games. They're 14 games over 500. Okay, I mean that's fair to say that they're overachieving. I would agree, and that's why I kind of put a question mark because I'm on the fence there. I mean, I expected them to win the NL Central, like I said, but I think they are stronger than what I originally thought. We've looked at those first 2 games of the season. I know they're the first 2 games of the season coming out of spring training in the Tokyo Dome, like all the other factors with it. You looked at that Cubs team and you're like, okay, maybe they aren't going to be as good as we thought. And then they came back to stateside and they've been killing it since. So yeah, I think they're on the borderline of over for me, but expecting them to win the NL Central there. Cardinals are over for sure. I'm waiting for them to drop off, and they don't. Arenado probably needs to be traded, but his leadership is probably a big part of why they're doing so well. I agree. I mean, leadership goes a long way. A veteran that knows what he's doing, knows how to win, knows how to compete day in and day out. It's nice that, the Cardinals have their young guys that are coming up and performing and staying fairly consistent too. But yeah, I'm definitely with you on the over there for the Cardinals for sure. Pirates expected. I mean, for them, it's brutal, and we knew it was going to be brutal going in. Other than Paul Scanes, Henry Davis, that kid can hit. That kid has just destroyed the Diamondbacks the last couple of games. Him and Scanes have something going there. That kid can hit, and he's only going to get better. But that's all they got. I mean, Cabrian Hayes, what are the Pirates still doing with him at this point? I mean, I love Andrew McCutchen, one of my favorite players. But, I mean, why is he still there? Is he still producing? Yeah, a little bit here and there. But the Pirates are just existing at this point. I hate it. They're such a historical franchise, and they don't care. That organization does not care that they're sitting in last place. Not one bit. They seem to be playing a little bit better with their new manager here after letting Shelton go. They're 6-4 in their llast 10. So, I mean, it's not great. It's not horrible. But I hate it. Yeah, that home run that O'Neal Cruz hit the other day, it was not right. It really wasn't. 122.9 off the bat into the Allegheny. Just stupid. It's not even fair. And the Reds, I have the Reds as underperforming. Now they're a game under or underachieving, I should say. I guess underperforming, underachieving are two separate things, but they're one game under 500. I had the Reds kind of above the Cardinals and Brewers this year. I thought the young kids, another year under their belt, they were going to be fine. The pitching was going to come back. I know I kind of put a lot of eggs in that starting pitching basket, and it hasn't quite panned out. I had the Reds finishing second in this division behind the Cubs. So for me, they're underperforming. I thought Terry Francona was going to come in and make a difference. And I think he has, and he will. It's going to take time. Francona will put his mark on that franchise for sure. I think I'm just a couple years early with them. But yeah, they're underperforming for me. The one Cruz hit into the waterfall was wow. Yeah, I mean, dude, when that guy connects with one, it's silly. You haven't seen it before. 122.9 is stupid. Agree. Expected way more from the Reds. Yeah, and I think they can still get there. Again, it's early, plenty of time left. Francona will make a difference. He really will. The guy's too good of a manager to not put this team in a good situation. Yeah, with Francona at the helm and with your captain, they definitely looks brighter. Agree. And I think they will get there. I have faith in the Reds, and actually have more faith in Francona than I do the Reds. So I guess together it makes sense that I'd have faith in both, but thought they'd be a little bit better than they are at this point. But yes, Gaines is like Clark in the WNBA, every 5 days sold out, rest of the time 80% empty. Yeah, you're not wrong, John. Not wrong. All right. NL West here. Dodgers, I think, are under. Now, they're still the Los Angeles Dodgers. I'm not saying that they're not. I mean, they're 12 games over 500. They're a ridiculous ball team. I'm not trying to, make fun of Dodgers fans here or, throw shade at them in any way. I just think the Dodgers are still underperforming. A lot of injuries, underachieving, I should say. A lot of injuries. Starting rotation has been out. Yeah, you got Gonsolin back. You got May back. They're still trying to figure it out. And Sean, this is a fair question. Can the Dodgers win 100 games? Can the Dodgers win 100 games and underachieve? Yes. I mean, for me, my expectations, and it might be an unfair one. I think it's a completely unfair expectation going in, and I think you guys were all with me. We were expecting this team to win 110 plus at least. At least. Yeah, and this is what I'm talking about, Captain. The Dodgers are under. I had them going 151-11 on paper. Yeah, all of us did. We're sitting here and we're like, is this the first team that will win 120? Yeah. And John, yeah, with you. After the first 10 games, I thought Dodgers were winning 130. All of us were sitting here being like, this is it. We're going to see it. We are going to see a team go 130-32. You know, you look at that lineup. I mean, it's a 120 win team. It's an all-star lineup. Even the rotation is Glasnow, Snell, Yamamoto, Sasaki. You look, the bullpen loaded. The guys off the bench, like Kike Hernandez comes off the bench. He's got what, 9 home runs or something this year? Like, that's silly. How does Kike Hernandez come off the bench and still be like, you know, towards the top in home runs for the year? Like, that's insane to me. I don't know if it's 9 home runs, but 7. Sorry, my bad. But he's coming off the bench. He's not even playing every day. He's got 7 bombs. It's crazy. On the old unbalanced schedule, if they play the Rockies 18 times, maybe. And that's a fair point. Absolutely fair point. But to me, I think they're under just from everything you guys just said. On paper, preseason, we're all like, this is 21 team plus. So to go back to your question, John Carter, can they win 100 games and underachieve? Yeah, I think it's possible. Kike is a baller, dude. You can't not put him in a playoff lineup for sure. I mean, as a Red Sox fan, watching him in 2021 when we had that fluke playoff run, he was unconscious. I've never seen anybody so hot. I mean, maybe Tommy Edman in the NLDS last year, but Kike Hernandez was unconscious, locked in the playoffs in 2021. I've never seen anybody get like that. That was crazy. Can't even imagine what that feels like, being that hot in an MLB playoff series. Just wild to me. All right. Padres are expected to me. Now, they're 8 games over 500. They're up, they're down, they're 4 their last 6 now, but in the last 10, they're 4-6. But to me, the Padres have always been that kind of team. Like, they find it for a big stretch, they lose it for a big stretch. They find it for a big stretch, they lose it for a big stretch. I know they had Jackson Merrill on the IL for a while there. I don't know if they have a true leader in that clubhouse. I mean, I know Machado's there. I know Tatis is there. Are they the leaders of that team? Are they the type of players you want leading your team? I don't know. I know that the Padres have a lot of, swag, but is that like leadership? Like, I don't know. I think the Padres are the Padres. That's why I kind of have them as expected. They are who they are. And I don't really have anything negative or positive to say about them. They're just they're a good ball club. Not saying they're not. But for me, I think they're just kind of achieving at an expected rate at this point. Second place in the NL West, third place in the NL West, kind of bouncing back and forth between that. That's just, I've kind of expected that out of the Padres. I know people expected the Dodgers to win 120 games, but reality, it's a long year. Publicly, they'll tell you every game matters, but candidly, it's all about winning the World Series. The regular season isn't just that important as long as they make the playoffs. And Chad, that's fantastic point. Absolutely. The regular season doesn't mean as much as it did back in the day. I was listening to a podcast today, the Baseball Book Club. They were talking about you had to win the pennant in the regular season in order to get the World Series. Like, there weren't wild cards. There weren't division series. They weren't championship series. It was like, have the best record, go to the World Series. That was it, right? Regular season had way more weight. It doesn't matter anymore. You're right. I mean, you can get in with 79 wins as long as you're first in your division, you're in the playoffs. Doesn't matter. My D-backs, talked about them earlier. They're very underperforming. Mostly the bullpen's underperforming, and Zach Gallen's underachieving. Too many walks, too many base runners, too many runs. That's what that is with the Diamondbacks. They're scoring a boatload of runs, but they can't prevent them. They're 3-7 in their last 10. They are under 500 at home. They're under 500 on the road. 7 games back. If they don't figure it out quick, they could be falling way, way back there. But again, very talented team that will figure it out. But at the moment, they are underachieving. Captain says, Giants are one of those teams that I feel are always an overachiever like the Rays. And yeah, agree. Giants have some nice pieces out there. And finally, Camilo Duvall's figured it out. They took him out of the closer role last year. He's starting to come back to it. He's figuring it out. Logan Webb's an absolute machine. Wilmer Flores is having an incredible year. The addition of Willy Adames only helps. Mike Yastrzemski's had a great start to the season. They got some pieces. Julio Ramos hits the ball all over the ballpark. Giants are over for me, just because they have been like a 500 team the last couple of years. I know they had that fluke 100-win season a couple of years ago, but there's 6 games over 500. They're playing great baseball. I just think that they're over at the moment. They'll come back to earth at some point. They're 4-6 in their last 10 as well. So, yeah, they're definitely an over for me. Yeah, Wilmer's killing it this year. He's a great pickup for me in fantasy for sure. I just wonder if the Dodgers pitching is now, if that's what they have for the playoffs, can they win it all? And I don't think they can. Playoffs is going to be a different animal. I'm with you here, John. If they go in with the pitching staff they have right now, I don't think they can. Can they outslug a team in the wild card series or division series? Yeah. I mean, even if they're in the wild card series, they probably won't be. But they might be in trouble because you could run into an offense like the Diamondbacks. You could run into an offense, like the Braves, Padres, that can destroy those guys. So if they don't have healthy pitching, I think they could be in trouble. But JP Crawford just lost his crap, taking a very bad third strike call. Oh, man. That's awesome. I know we're in the West, but just saw this. Looks like Braves lost A.J. Smith-Shawver to possible Tommy John. Oh, dang. And he was looking good for them, too. He's made some great starts for them. That will be a big blow to the Braves. Yeah, and I think that's part of it, too, Cap, and this is a great point. Dodgers are going to save some arms for the playoffs. And maybe that's what it is. I mean, Glasnow's always hurt. I don't think he's necessarily like a save candidate. Blake Snell's was the shoulder inflammation. Maybe there is something else going on there. I haven't really heard an update on Blake Snell's shoulder. But they're not going to rush them back either. If they're just going to coast through the rest of the season in the NL West here and be in first, they're in good position for them not to rush them back. And that's why they haven't rushed Otani back either. I don't think they're not in a rush to bring those guys back. They'll be good for the playoffs. I'm with you there. And then we'll get to the Rockies. So I have expected here, I mean, 2 and under, right? There's no way they're overachieving. Maybe they're overachieving in losing. But they're 9-47. 9-47. Think about that for a second. That's a 161 winning percentage. They're already 25 games back of the Dodgers. That they are 1-9 in their last 10. How are you still in single digits in wins? That is what, 2 months into the season, you haven't won 10 games. I can't even wrap my mind around that. So maybe I'm changing that to under. That's definitely under for sure. 9 wins. 6-22 at home, 3-25 away. I can't physically wrap my mind around that. I really have nothing else to say on that. So I dropped the ball there. Rockies are under, way under. I mean, I expected them to be in last place in that division. Obviously, I think that's why, when I did this quickly before I hopped on, that I put expected, but didn't really sit and really think about it that much. And I should have, because they're way under. Yeah, you almost have to try and lose. Playing in that ballpark almost dictates at least 5 or 6 more wins. Yeah, agree, Chad. Like, you have to try to lose baseball games, right? Baseball is a fluky game as it is, right? I mean, think about it. You can have a perfect game going. You're dealing, and a ball bounces off a rock, and you lose the game. Like, that's baseball. For them to not even get 10 wins, I can't. I can't. It's mind numbing. It's making my head hurt. Absolutely wild. Yeah, and you're in probably the best offensive park in the league. It's crazy. All right, Josh, you think the Braves are under? Okay, I mean, we talked about it. We can bounce back to the Braves here. I kind of put expected here to just because they started off really slow, right? I mean, it was looking pretty bad for the Braves, but at this point, I thought they got back. They're almost back to 500. They're still working their way there. I think they'll get there eventually. But I could take that argument. I understand where they're coming, that they are underachieving right now for sure. Yeah, and Captain, this is it. It's just one more bloop, one more Texas leaguer, or one more line drive, and that changes the outcome of the game. And the Rockies can't even get that. It's brutal what they have over there. It's sad. It really is. It's tough to watch. But all right. One more C&I ground ball. Yeah, all the baseball terms, all the cliches, throw them out there. Rockies need just one more. Maybe they'd get a double-digit win total. But right now, not happening. But all right, anything else in the AL or the NL you guys want to discuss before we move on? I mean, I think we kind of covered most of them. And that's all I had for that tonight. Is there anything else you guys want to bring before I head out for the evening? A lot of great baseball. I know today was a slow baseball day, but big series this weekend. I think there's a couple of good ones. I think the Yankees go down to Chavez Ravine, play the Dodgers this weekend. That would be a good series. Yankees have been on the West Coast, seems like almost a month. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so you kind of agree with me, Josh. Yeah, I did not think about it that way. And this is what I love about the chat, because there's a lot of times that you guys also bring points to me that I didn't think about either. So I'm glad you said that, and I love the discussion that it sparks. And that's why we do this podcast with you guys because there isn't another baseball podcast where we can come on and talk to the fans and just talk baseball. That's all we do here. We bring up the news. We talk about what's going on. And that's what we love. That's the community we're trying to build here. So I absolutely love that input. But it's incredible. But I was ready to write the Braves off completely after the start. I just didn't think they had it. They looked not like Braves teams in the past. My co-host Harrison was all in on the Braves and said they'll be fine. They'll work it out. Too much talent. They'll figure it out. And they're starting to. They'll get there, which is what I would say expected. But I can definitely see the underachieving part as well for sure. Fun fact, Pirates have 13 seasons over 500 since 1978. Eek. Well, that's gross. All right. Ooh, this is a good one. Should the All-Star game still have one player from every team? I get giving small markets a chance to have a guy there, but shouldn't it be about guys who deserve to be there? That's a great question, Chad. Yeah, because every year we have all-star snubs, right? I mean, we always do. Like there's guys that should have made it, but you just don't know. There's not enough spot, right? You already got two first basemen, but there's a third that really should have made it, but there isn't a spot there. Maybe they should do 2 all-star games. I don't know. Do I think that every team should be represented? I do. I really do think that every team should have at least one representative on it. I think it's important to celebrate even the best players on the worst teams, right? So I think it is important, right? And it's good to get like guys like from the Marlins, right? I said it earlier. I think Kyle Stowers is on his way there, and he's young. I think it'd be cool for him to get that experience. And the All-Star Game is an event. It's an awesome event, and it's an honor. But so I do think that at least one person from each team should have a chance. But you also got to find a way to get the guys that aren't snubbed. Because, there's some guys that have had ridiculous first halves and not made the all-star team and probably should have. I don't know how you fix that. And maybe the way you do fix it is doing what you just said, is not letting every team have a representative. I don't know. It's tough. Yeah. Yes, the Braves were horrible. Now they're almost at 500 in recent win over the Phillies. Yeah, I'm with you for sure. So expect it out of them. Who gets chosen from the Rockies this year? Ryan McMahon, maybe. Maybe the starting pitcher that leads the team in wins with 1. I don't know. It's a great question. Ezekiel Tovar, but does he make it over another shortstop? I don't know. It's going to have to be, I would say it'd have to be a pitcher Hunter Goodman's a good one. He's a catcher. Again, I don't know if he would make it over another catcher that's voted on. But Hunter Goodman has had a great year. Not Michael Toglia. My guesses would either be Brenton Doyle could be up there. Let's see, it would be Doyle, Tovar, McMahon, or Goodman. I think would be your probably choices, most likely choices. Let's see if I can find their team stats. Not that I want to look at these team stats because could make me vomit. But yeah, I would have to say my guess would be Hunter Goodman here. But otherwise than that, I don't know. Do you give one of the bullpen guys a nod? Do you give a starting pitcher a nod? I don't know. Yeah, Hunter Goodman's he's got 7 home runs. He's hitting 276. So I mean, he's up there, 31 RBIs. So he's having a good start. I think Goodman's the clear front runner there. And then your pitchers, you got Kyle Freeland leading your lowest ERA in your starting rotation is Ryan Feltner at a 4.75. Yikes. Yep. So their starting rotation ERA. Here we go. Kyle Freeland 5.86. Antonio Zenzatella 6.5. Herman Marquez 7.13. Chase Dollander 6.28. And Ryan Feltner 4.75. That's god awful. I mean, I know they're at Coors Field, but that's brutal. So I'm going to go with Hunter Goodman being the all-star representative from the Rockies this year. And he's a catcher. So, so Captain's with us, thinks there should be a representative from all teams. Yeah. I had a monster year, 13-year-old Babe Ruth, and got snubbed. I'm still bitter about it. I would be too, for sure. Who do you have to win NL MVP and win World Series? NL MVP, honestly, right now, could be the first time since Andre Dawson won an MVP on a last place team. This could be Paul Skeens. I mean, it's most likely going to go to Shohei Otani. Let's be honest. It's been the Shohei Otani Award for the last however many years. But realistically, I think Paul Skeens has a shot. I mean, other than the wins, he's going to have the ERA. He's going to have the strikeouts. He's going to have the quality starts. I think Skeens could make a run at the NL MVP. It's going to go to Shohei. Although you got Kyle Tucker in the mix too. So NL MVP is going to be a tough one. I don't know. It's an interesting one. That's going to be a good race. Acuna could come in and just absolutely blow the doors off everybody. I agree. I don't think he's going to get the stolen base numbers. I think the Braves will be smart and kind of keep a leash on him. You can't afford to have him go out and tear his ACL for a third time. I know the second one was a fluke too, but you got to try to bubble wrap him, kind of like Mike Trout at this point. Honestly, Chad, I think they did. I think they did bring back their team uniforms for the All-Star games. Let me check that real quick. But I believe I did see an article where they did. Okay, so it says a special All-Star uniform will be worn by players selected to the All-Star game during the Gatorade workout and T-Mobile Home Run Derby, though players competing in the Derby will wear their home team uniforms. So just MLB is collaborating with New Era on a game cap for the All-Star game. So they will be wearing their home whites or their away grays in the All-Star game. And then in the Home Run Derby, they'll all be wearing their home whites. So that is happening this year. So that's good. He'll get the Cy Young for sure. I know MVP is objective, but I just can't give it to someone on a bad team. And that's completely fair as well. And I don't think he's going to get I just had a brain cramp. He's not going to get the wins, right? Obviously, he's not going to get enough wins to even be considered for an MVP. I think in order to get an MVP as a pitcher, you got to get the wins, got to get the ERA. You got to almost win the Triple Crown like Skubal and Sale did last year, and he's not going to. So I think the MVP is Tucker and Otani. That's the race there. Yeah, I don't think Acuna's had a stolen base yet either. And again, I don't think he's going to. I mean, he might have, a few by the end of the season. He's no stolen bases right now. And I don't think they want him to run. more than he needs to. They're going to keep a leash on him for sure. Yeah, and finally, yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I don't mind the All-Star jerseys. The pink ones were a little off the wall for me last year. But I did like the blue ones. I like the hats at least. And I think that's mostly what I've been liking. Like even the City Connects that come out, I tend to like the hats more than I do the jerseys themselves. But maybe that's just because I love hats. I don't really know. But I'm glad they are going back to team uniforms. Do you think anyone is close to Jacob Wilson for the AL Rookie of the Year this year if he keeps these numbers up? So my AL Rookie of the Year pick was Jackson Jobe. I don't think he's going to get there. We haven't had an incredible start. We're not blowing the doors off. Jason Dominguez could be another one. But he's kind of 239. I don't think so. I at this point, I think you're right. I think it's Jacob Wilson, and I don't think it's close. Yeah, we're hitting 353, 7 homers. I don't think there's anybody close to him at this moment. One of those other guys can get on a tear, but yeah, I think it's Jacob Wilson's to have. Yeah, absolutely, Captain. I'm with you. You have, as a pitcher, to win the MVP, you got to be completely dominant. You got to be Justin Verlander that year for sure. Yeah, Josh says see him having 15, 20 homers if Acuna stays hot. Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. Yeah. Who has the best City Connect jersey in your opinion? Well, the new ones for the Diamondbacks, I absolutely love. Again, kind of biased there because I'm a D-backs fan. I love that they brought back the purple and teal, but kept the Serpientes. As soon as that hat came out, I was on lids just trying to like refresh until it came out, and it was an instant buy for me. I love those ones. I don't mind the Boston Green Monster ones. At first, I was like, but now I like them. I'm all right with them. My favorite ones, though, that's a hard one. I know a lot of people love the Nationals Cherry Blossoms one, although they discontinued them. But Rockies are gross. I like the Angels ones because they didn't go over the top. It was like kind of a very classic looking uniform. Change the font to make it look more modern with like the triangle in the bottom left. I did like the Angels. That was a good one. Love the Mariners hat. I don't know about any of the teams with the black pants though. I'm not digging the black pants. I don't mind Texas's City Connects. Those were nice. Yeah, I think those are the other ones. Pittsburgh wasn't bad either. The yellow ones were good. But I would have to say if I had to pick a favorite, it was the new Diamondbacks one for sure. Yeah, the new Rockies ones are brutal. I'm with you, baseball history dork. They look like Easter eggs. Have you seen the new Giants ones? The new Giants ones look like kids like did them with graffiti. Those ones are hideous. Absolutely hideous. Let's see if I can find a picture of them. Yeah, this one is. Let's see if I can share this real quick. This one is not. This one's bad. I don't know if I can see it. Let's see if I can blow it up for you guys. Nope. Yeah, it looks like kids drew on it. I don't like those at all. The hat is a travesty too. Baltimore's were kind of plain. I didn't really care for Baltimore's at all. But yeah, just brutal. Yeah, the 90s uniforms for the Angels, I'd bring for sure. I would bring those back in a heartbeat. I love those. What do you guys think is the best jersey of all time? Yeah, right. Nice. Thanks, man. About the Giants one. Well, the thrill wouldn't even wear it. Yeah. Or like Chris Sale when they wore the throwback uniforms with the collars and he like cut it all up and he's like, I'm not wearing that for sure. What do you guys think were the best uniforms of all time? Like your favorite baseball uniform that any team wore at any time? I have a couple. Um, I would. Who's my favorite team? My favorite team is the Red Sox. Follow the Arizona Diamondbacks pretty closely, and recently been watching the Sacramento A's of Oakland, Las Vegas pretty closely, but lately. But I'd go Red Sox and Diamondbacks for sure. Um, I mean, any of the baby blues, I'm with you. Like Phillies and Cardinals blue jerseys. Um, They are up there. I do love the. Oh, all right, you're a Rays fan. That's awesome. Nice. Love that. Yeah, the maroon jerseys for the Phillies with that blue on it, I think are sharp. I love those. Those are way up there for me. Um, I love the Expos. I love their jerseys. They were nice up there. But for me, and I think it's because they're just a different color. Every team in the MLB seems to be red or blue. I do love the Oakland Athletics, the Kelly Greens with the yellow font. Those ones are way up there for me. I do love those. Um, those are a top 5 jersey for me for sure. Um, I did like the Mariners vests back in the day with like the teal under. Those were nice. I just like the kind of the teams with like the different colors that aren't. I mean, Marlins teals and the pinstripes. I mean, come on now. Those were sick. The old Marlins, like the '97 Marlins that they won the World Series in. Those ones were way up there for me. Might be close to my top 1 or 2. This is so good. I've been searching so hard to try to find the teal Florida Marlins hat from back in the day, and they're hard to find. I can't find it without like one of those big World Series patches on the side. Oh yeah, the old school Tigers were just the old English D. Those are nice too. I love those. I just like a clean looking uniform, but also like the teams that aren't blue and red because it's just. I mean, you go down the league and it's like blue, red, red. So I do like teams that are different colors. But so I go probably Marlins. I would go the Kelly Green Oakland A's. Probably go the Expos. And then I'd probably go the Phillies maroon and baby blue, and then any powder blue jersey is probably number 5. I love those. So yeah. All right. Well, fellas, my voice is telling me that it's probably time that I hang them up for the evening. Thank you so much for another incredible show. Like you guys are the reason we keep coming back and doing this show. Like I said, we create this show for you guys, the fans, to have a platform to share your baseball opinions, to talk baseball, and to be the fans that we all are. I know there's not a lot of podcasts out there that do what we do and include you into our show, and that's what we want to build as a community. We want to build a community that just talks baseball and brings in everybody's perspective, and we just get to talk about the game that we all love to do. So thanks to you guys, we've been able to do this and to keep this going. Thank you, Michael. Yeah, and you guys are the reason we do this. So we really appreciate it. Hydrate, Captain. Thank you, Chad. Appreciate it. And I'm about ready to drive up to Maine myself and tell Harrison to hop on the computer. But no, for real, we miss him a lot, and hopefully he'll get back soon here, and we'll activate him off the IL again. Still day to day on his status, but we'll get him back on here. Thanks, baseball history dork. Yeah, I've been going at alone for the last couple weeks with Harrison on the IL, but um, I'll probably get Geezer back on. He was on a couple times, so we'll get him. But yeah, really appreciate it, Willie. Thank you for the really appreciate the support, Willie, and get the Epsom salt bath ready next coming for sure. But yeah, again, thanks. You guys are incredible. Keep sending me stuff you want to talk about. If there's something you want to talk about that you're dying to talk about, send it to me in the Facebook message. I'm very responsive in there, as a lot of you guys know. We talk back and forth. I talk to John about the Mariners a lot. I talk to John Carter about the Twins. So just send me stuff that you guys want to talk about, and we'll definitely incorporate it in the show. I know Chad sent me this thing earlier too this week. So there's stuff you want to talk about, we'll put it in the show. We'll talk about it, and let's just have a blast with it. So if you have a lot of friends that are baseball fans, tell them about it, bring them on with you, and we'll just talk about anything you want to. So yeah, great show, Nick. The Johns always have you back. Really appreciate it. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So you guys have been great. We'll be back on Sunday. More trivia as you guys like. Try to maybe get some newish trivia or bring back some old stuff. We'll see. See what I'm in the creative mood for on Sunday. But enjoy your weekend of baseball. Go Red Sox. Go Twins. Go Mariners. Go Diamondbacks. Go Braves. Go whoever your team is. Yeah, we'll see you on Sunday. Michael, the page is Rounding Third Baseball, which you're commenting on Facebook. You're probably on it already. So you can just hit the follow button and you should be able to get the live alerts when we come on. But we're on Sundays and Thursdays. But again, thank you guys so much. See you Sunday. Enjoy your weekends. Relax. Take in some baseball. We'll see you Sunday evening. Peace.